So this week, I'd like to talk about several qualitative research methods or types of research that you'll come across in your reading or just in your planning your own research. And while these don't fit in their own little boxes and there are often blurry lines of what kind of research am I doing, and it's not something to get hung up on, it does help you, just like a paradigm helps you in terms of what questions you want to ask and how you're going to ask them. This knowing these types of research might tell you how many people you want to work with, what kind of questions you can ask, and how you want to analyze the information. So let's start with the basic descriptive type of research. And this is the most common type of qualitative research. If you read across qualitative research studies, you'll find that people mostly do this type of work. The goal is to describe the types and characteristics of people, places, things, and events. So you're trying to find the themes and just list them out and maybe describe them or operationalize them, but you're not trying to interpret them in any deep way. And it really doesn't draw on any philosophy. It's just a type of research where instead of counting things, you're trying to find the themes of things and describe them. Again, it's very common. So for across different types of methods in qualitative research, I want to use the airport's International Gate as an example. So in terms of basic or descriptive qualitative studies, a research question might be, what are the challenges to international travel? You just want to know, how would people list out or discuss or talk about their international travel and the challenges they've come across? Participants would be the people who travel or their families, or others in the settings, such as car rental people or cleaning staff or guards who actually watch people and see what challenges they might have. Sample sizes can vary depending on the research question you're asking. There's no set sample size. Data collection methods might include observations, interviews, focus groups. You could look at schedules. You could look at a lot of different things. You can even observe lines that people have to stand in at an international gate. And the types of results are taxonomies or lists or descriptions of the types and characteristics of barriers, just like you're asking in your research question. So an example from the literature actually comes from some work that I did with a group of people. And what we did was we wanted to know, what are the positive aspects of having had cancer? My work is often on quality of life among cancer survivors. And so I worked with a large group of people, and we got approval from the American Cancer Society to use some of their data from a survey. It was a very quantitative survey that they had sent out to a really, really large group of people. But we wanted to analyze an open-ended question on their survey. And the survey asked, please tell us about any positive aspects of having cancer. And we wound up being able to analyze over 5,000 responses for their themes and then look at them in different ways. But what we really did was we first were able to just identify the themes and operationalize them as we were hearing them from the data. So we weren't really interpreting or getting really deep. We were just looking at the themes that were popping out across these 5,000 responses and being able to list them out and define them. And we found 21 positive aspects of having had cancer in our analysis. Examples were gratitude, being able to work with medical support, health-related changes, being able to help others with their new experience of being a cancer survivor, appreciation for life, and things like that. So again, we came up with these themes, but we weren't getting very interpretive about them. Another method in qualitative is called phenomenology. Now, this one's quite elusive to me. I've never done it. It's quite intense. So basically, all qualitative research is phenomenological because it's focused on people's experience. It's the phenomenon. So phenomenology seeks to understand the essence or structure of a phenomenon, and it's understanding the lived experience or meaning of an experience or phenomenon to the person who has experienced it. Okay? The focus is on the essence of meaning of interaction between humans and the world and how it is perceived by the participant. And the questions are regarding everyday life and experiences. So it might be very mundane, the mundane essence of living with something like a disability or driving to work. What is the essence of doing such? The perspectives are from those who experience the world, and it's looking at the internalized meaning. Analysis involves reducing and distilling the answers to their absolute essence for the experience, for which if it was missing, it wouldn't be that experience. Okay. And it requires the researcher to explore their own experience and bracket them away, try to suspend their pre ideas of what is involved in the phenomenon. And this is called epic, which is an ancient Greek term for a point where judgments about the external world or existence and actions are suspended, so that the researcher tries not to impose their own ideas on the meaning that they're hearing from the people involved in this research. It draws from philosophy, sociology, psychology, and religion. So if we go back to our international gate at the airport, the research question might be, what is the meaning or essence of arriving home after international travel? And participants might be the travelers. You might look at literature, art, poetry, or other forms of description. The sample size will be very small in terms of the people you speak with because it is intensive. It usually has intensive follow-up. Data collection might be in-depth conversations, document reviews, things like that. And the types of results is an in-depth reflection, reflexive description of the experience of what it truly feels like to come home after international travel. So an example of this from the literature is from Wolf. And Wolf asked, what is the essence of in-church worship and how can it be compared to worship via TV? And they sampled people from a Lutheran congregational church. There were 12 churchgoers, and they interviewed them using guides with topics, but not structured questions or ordered. They transcribed the interviews, and they analyzed it by reducing the data, looking for themes, and interpreting them, trying to get them down, get a whole idea down to 1 to 2 phrases to really capture the essence of what the person is talking about. And so you can read this article, but it really was trying to distill across these people what is the essence of what they're talking about from worshiping in church or on TV. And if that were missing, it wouldn't be that phenomenon. So I'm going to stop here and take a little break, and then we'll move on to talking about grounded theory.